when partnerships actually end, like cordially.
I know. I'm like, are we done for it? Like, what's happening? And she's like, I don't really know right now. I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, Hailey, we are now recording audio.
Okay.
Videos are going. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, last time it was just me and you. You get the full experience now. We got the new mics. It's not the lav mics. We don't have the camera that's filming in like 720. We got like the real thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. you were back in an OG episode.
Yeah, this feels fancy.
Yeah, and you were still in college.
Yes.
And now 2 full seasons out of college. I'm curious what the expectation versus reality has been like for you, like expecting what a full professional beach season would be like, and now 2 years into it, what it's actually been like.
That's a great question. I think the first season, because the college season ended in May, was so abrupt that I just didn't plan well. I didn't have a partner set that first season coming out of college. So I think I played with maybe 9 different people that first year, and I just felt like, oh man, I just felt like I was on a hamster wheel, just not really getting my feet like settled into anything.
Can't really get a rhythm, right?
Yeah. So drastically different from this past year where I've been with like one partner and training and getting consistent, feedback and all this stuff. So yeah, the last 2 years have been very different, but I think this past year has been more ideal of a pro season, because I played AVP and internationally full go for the first time. So I would say this year was really kind of like my first year.
Yeah. And the international grind, it can wear people down. But I feel like every time I see you, you're always smiling, you're always happy. And last time we talked, like joy was a word that came up a lot. And I'm curious how that international year was for you, because it's a lot of travel. You're switching time zones. You're always outside of many comfort zones at the same time. You're competing. What was it like for you? Because you seem to have adjusted pretty well to it.
Well, thank you. Looks can be deceiving. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was really a cool experience. It's not like we went and won every tournament. So being so far away from home, I think you have to rely on something, when you're just kind of away for so long and just maybe you're not like doing the best as you want to. So that was a big time to rely on my faith and rely on just my relationship with Kelly, and just continue to try to get better. And, it was motivating, like seeing the other teams on the world tour, because I had never really played these other countries before. And it was like eye-opening because each team just has their own style of play, and just their own like sense of pride for their country and like why they play. So I felt like that was just so inspiring that I want to keep playing, even though it wasn't the easiest road this year.
Did you feel like you had like high expectations in terms of results specifically, or was it maybe more experiential based? Like early on, some people are just like, I just want to go out there and see what happens, but I have a feeling you had some expectations mixed in there.
That's a good feeling. Yeah. I think I was just so stoked to have a great partner in Kelly, who I just respect so much, and her work ethic, and then a great coach in Evie. Yeah. So I was just like, whoa, like this is so cool. Like I really believe we can do really well.
Right.
And so that belief was amazing, but it also caused me to have some of the lowest moments on the road when I just had so much belief in our team, and maybe we would fall short in a qualifier of Elite 16 in a 3-set match.
Yeah.
And then the weight of the points game and the weight of, oh, this costs so much money and we're far away. I just hadn't experienced that before.
Dabble a little bit of the Olympic rings like possibility on top of that.
Yeah. So there were definitely, I'm realizing now, high expectations just because it was coming from a good place of I believe in our team, and I think that's a good foundation, but not to get too caught up in, I guess, where you perceive you should be versus like the process. That's my current phrase, is like trust the process. Really just be where you are right now. There's no sense in being in the past or the future.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's such, I'm 10 years in, and I'm still trying to deal with that. It's like, how can you go, if you're really competitive, like you're going to go out on the road with expectation, right? Which means that you're going to ride those lows. I mean, unless you're literally just dominating the whole world, which only one or two teams gets to really do. So you have to, like, you're really putting yourself out there, you know? But I haven't found my way around it yet. Like, do you lower or do you lower like your goals and aspirations? No. So is this just how it has to be?
It's like
I guess. I don't know.
With Vince Vaughn and Average Joe's is like, I choose not to set any expectations for myself. That way I'm never disappointed.
Right. Hence the team name Average Joe.
But a lot of people go through like a sophomore slump type, and I don't think you did that. I think that you continued to rise and develop this year. I'm curious what you thought year two, because as you mentioned, like a lot of times after you have such like a great rookie season as you did, the expectations can get pretty big, and then like you're like, well, I expect to be here, but I'm not quite there. But I think if you look at it objectively, you improved this year.
Oh yeah. When I stand back and I don't get so nitpicky about myself, I really believe like having Evie as a coach and being with Kelly, like I was able to improve a lot this year. But if I kind of zoom in and if you only focus on the results, I'm like, well, I won an AVP last year.
Right.
And I didn't win one this year with a really good partner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think overall as a player, I've gotten better in just playing the best. Like I've heard it said recently, like you should be like a kid on a playground. Like you should not be putting so much pressure on yourself. Like you're young, you're athletic, like you have this career ahead of you.
Yeah.
This should be so much fun for you to play the best in the world, and don't put this like weight on yourself. Is some advice I've gotten recently. So
yeah, but when I hear that too, it's like that's pressure. I should have fun. I shouldn't be feeling these, you know. Like that's a lot of pressure too for me, is like I can't really control when I'm having fun. You have to like create the environment and buy into the process to a point where the process is fun, right? But like to go out there and like, I'm gonna have fun this match. And you're like, I'm having fun. You're like smiling, but I'm losing. Like, I don't know. That's like a tricky thing for me too. I mean, in the exact same boat right now. I'm just like, I should be enjoying like this is what I want to do. This is what I bit off and what I was asking for. But can I like? How do I make it fun, but not like go? I have to go have fun, you know? Because that's like an expectation in itself.
I think not necessarily only having fun, because when this advice was given to me, I actually thought of you as a person from my lens, who I think you just emulate freedom on the court from when I watch you. And I've seen you talk about like, oh, just go, like don't think.
Yeah.
And I think that is more so like, don't let your thoughts like overanalyze everything. Like just be and just go. Like just be like a kid that's out there doing what they want to do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me it's been the key for me is get back to your instincts. Like let your instincts take over. Thinking try is not so good. It doesn't move quite as quick.
Me neither.
Instincts try, just being an animal out there, like that's the good one. So yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, you never like, you're always in your own bubble, like you said. You're never really like noticing what other people are seeing from the outside. But I'm right there too, trying to get back to the instincts.
And everyone's got such a different definition of like what fun means to them.
Yeah.
You know, you got fun for a Sean Cook is like being goofy, chopping it up with the crowd, and then 2 seconds later he's hammering a ball and he just refocuses. Like that's his fun. Whereas for a lot of people that's just being goofy and distracted and you're not actually going to play well. And then for other people it's really fun to be like grinding and in the gym and working super hard. And then for other people it's like it is kind of being a little bit looser and laughing. I'm curious, like what does fun look like for Hailey Harward?
The first thing that comes to mind is connection with my partner and just kind of getting out of my own head. I think if I get quiet or just too overanalyzing either myself or like what the opponent's doing, it's not super fun for me. I think there's a time and place for that, but I think really just what you're saying, like going after it, like when I don't think, all of a sudden I'm like so fast on defense.
Yeah.
And we can get scramble plays and then like scream with my partner. Like, I just think that is so fun. Like, just not putting added pressure on myself when I'm already working on the perfectionism thought process. So I think almost just like turning off the brain can be like fun for me.
Yeah. And it's awesome, especially when you sort of, when you have those sort of flow state moments when your brain's turned off. And then when you come out of it, when you're in the player's tent, you're like, whoa, how'd I get it? You like black back in. You're like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's healthy. It's a healthy mindset, I feel like, when I'm speaking about my game as an observer. When I'm like, whoa, that was crazy when I did this and that. And like, or people are like, how'd you do that? I was like, I have no idea. Like, I literally just, like when I won that Grand Slam, like the interview that I remember all the time is them interviewing me in stadium. Like, hey, you're a rookie out here. Like, what happened? You're like, and I was like, I have no idea. I just ended up here. Like, that's what I said in the stadium. I don't know. I just ended up here. And now looking back, I'm like, actually, that was like probably the most like flowed out I've ever been, because I had no expectations. I was in the qualifier. I was with Hayden. It was just like, tell me what to do. And it was like just a great like don't think tournament all the way through. And it's like, I was just trying to get back to that.
Yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, I just listened to Gervais podcast. Do you listen to Michael Gervais?
I have.
He did a good one with Apollo Anton Ona.
Okay.
And he said that he got into a flow state maybe once per year. And it's crazy because when you watch elite athletes, you think they're pretty much always in it. But then when they talk about it, it's like, yeah, I only reach that pinnacle of like mental performance like once a year. It's so hard to get there.
Yeah, that's a good little nugget, because I think oftentimes if it's talked about so much, or we're all striving for it so much, it's like, oh, well, maybe this person's just in flow state 24/7.
Right.
It's like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
I've been told recently by my sports psychologist who I'm working with, there's flow state and then there's clutch state.
Okay.
Whereas clutch state is you're performing at a really high level, but you're consciously pulling yourself back to the present. Whereas flow state, it's kind of just easy to ride it.
You're not leaving the present, probably,
Yes.
right, in the flow state.
Yes.
But you probably spend 90% of your time in clutch.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah, ideally.
And even clutch is a good place to be, to have the awareness to bring yourself back. Because a lot of times, like, the mind can just spiral. Like, you can be gone.
Yeah, because flow state only comes when you've forgotten about trying to be in the flow state.
Right.
You're just there, and then you observe it after. You're not like, oh, I'm in the flow state right now, and then boom, you just left it because you said that. Damn it, I left. And that's when you have the awareness, like, okay, come back, and you're like, now I'm in clutch mode, but the flow is more like you didn't even know you were there, kind of thing. Yeah, so I like that. And it also lowers expectation. Like, people like, I'm supposed to be in the flow state every time I play. Like, that's stressful. Like,
That's not how
you don't
get
get
there.
to control. That's the opposite of how you get there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have this clutch state of mind, I like it because there's no judgment in being out of that, right? It's just literally, can I be aware and then come back, even if it's for 15 seconds, and then my mind goes somewhere else again and I bring myself back. You're winning, right? You're doing something productive and good, and you can play really good volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that.
I love what you said. It's all about perspective.
Right.
Like, I could not dig a ball, but maybe I'm close to it, but I'm working on in my brain being like, oh, you didn't dig it. Like, that's so bad.
Right.
Versus a coach, Tyler Hildebrand, who's been working with me a little bit. He's like, that's so good.
Yeah,
like, you're so there. And in my brain, I'm like, I didn't dig the ball. That's wrong. Or like, if I hit it out, he's like, good swing, Hailey. I'm like, what do you mean? I just hit it out. But it's like the process.
Yeah.
He's so process focused that for me, it's just been like a 180 of like talking to myself in like, okay, you didn't get that one, but you're close. Like, look at all this space and you're playing a top player in the world. So maybe that's in their head, and then shifting to the belief in the next point of like, I'm going to get the next one instead of like, oh, I didn't get it. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not going to ever get a dig.
Yeah.
It's like two completely different spirals.
I just saw a Instagram post of what's her name, Coco, just one.
Coco
Gauff, yeah. They were two analysts were talking about her, and one of them who's ex-player was like, I knew she was gonna win it when she did this crazy rally, like 15 times there and back, and they just couldn't beat her. The other girl just couldn't get the ball down. And then finally she did. She won the point. Coco lost the point. And then she just comes back with like a fist pump, like, yes. Because she was just stoked. Like, I just did everything possible to stop this girl. I made her work so hard for that point that in her mind, in that moment, she just celebrated it. And she's like, she just celebrated a lost point where she played amazing. Like, she's in an ideal mind state and she's going to win the match. And then
I didn't see that. That's an awesome clip.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
pretty
that.
cool.
Yeah.
That is though, like when, just as an athlete, when you think about it, you're like, if I ever genuinely was just like, yeah, I made you work for that. Like, and you feel like you won the point, even though you lost, you're in a pretty good mind state right there. Like, you're pretty confident.
Yeah. Especially as a defender, because you touch as many balls as anyone in the country, if not the world. You're like, it's so funny. You're like, when I'm not thinking, I'm this much faster. I'm like, well, you're pretty fast either way.
Thank you. That's sweet.
And so I think like it has to be one of my favorite things to say to my defenders is like when someone hits a perfect line shot, like a Taylor Crab perfect baby line that like tags the line, and they still get a touch on it. I'm like, dude, you made them hit an absolutely perfect shot. Anything less than perfect doesn't work. I think that has to be, for me, that has to be satisfying as a defender. But as someone who split blocked one time in my career, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Is that like a cool feeling when you do just get a touch on it? Or is it more frustrating than cool
She's
for
like,
you right now?
no, not at all.
Yeah.
It depends what way I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
because it depends like who, I hate to say this, but sometimes it depends like who the opponent is or what's been happening. Have I been losing match after match after match? Like me and Kelly had a string of 9th places.
Yeah.
And so there was a time in Atlanta where we're like, oh, we're playing in the 9th place match, and it was really tight, and we end up losing that one too. And so I think in those moments, it might get maybe more heightened or more easy to choose the negative thought pattern.
Yep.
But yeah, just want to keep trying to choose the other way
Yeah.
and not let the circumstance or the opponent or like anything affect how I choose to think about the point.
Yeah. Is it cool for you just to even like think about the language that you're using now as compared to like a couple years ago where now you're working with sports psychs and you're like, we kept losing these 9th place matches, and like a year ago that would have been pretty good coming out of qualifiers and stuff and tour series, and now you're like, it's cool that you are now frustrated getting to a point where you would have been pretty stoked on just a year ago.
That's so true. That's a good perspective.
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 Exactly. You're like, is it cool or is it frustrating? I don't know. It depends which perspective you want to take.
Yeah.
But I think that's a sign of like objective growth. That because I talked to Evie about it too. He's like, Trav, what are you seeing with these 9th place matches? Like, what's going on? I'm like, it's so hard because like you guys would win pool all the time. And then you get to the 9th place match, and now it's no longer double a limb. That's one of the reasons that I hate pool play so much, is because you can go 2-0 and be in the same spot as a team that's 1-1, and you get one loss and you're done.
You also get this little psychological win from winning pool. That's like kind of hard to get past after that, to like reset and be like, we're right where the people who lost the game in pool play are, you know, and then have to play. I don't know. There's like a little mental thing there that would mess with me sometimes. You feel that?
Yeah, I mean, that's cool to hear from you.
For sure.
I definitely experienced that when we won our last pool. I forget where we were in the world, but we like won the pool. We're like, yes. And then it's like, okay, here we go. Here's a match that, and this is bad to say too, but I felt going into it, I was like, we should win this one and then the next one. And it's like, don't do that, girl, because guess what? We lost that match that we should have won, in my opinion, which is not good to say. So it's just like every match you need to reset. You need to like get after it, like respect every opponent. So
yeah, it's, I mean, especially on the world tour too. It's like, yeah, you're let's just say you have a Madden ranking of 85 out of 100. Well, these people are 83s. Like, well, we should beat them, right? Now you have this expectation, but like they're an extremely world-class team at the same time. So just that little mental edge, like, can kind of break you. I mean, at the end of the day, it usually comes down to 2 points, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you talked a lot about the connection you have with Kelly. How did you and Kelly go about becoming partners? Because I feel like after having played with 9 people in the first year, you probably had a pretty good idea of what your ideal partner looked like.
I think, in my opinion, I think it was all God, because I prayed about a partner situation, and then Kelly had a little knee procedure done. And then she was partnerless because she was with Sarah Hughes, and then she teamed up with Kelly Chang. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, I'm going to reach out. I don't know. I'm just going to slide in the DMs. And I was like, hey girl, like, I hope you're recovering well.
Didn't even have the text.
No,
I love how it's legitimately slid into the DMs.
slid into the Instagram DMs, and she said, like, hey, yeah, like, thanks for reaching out. Like, I'm just recovering, and like, I'll let you know. And so I took that as like, oh, she's not interested.
Yeah.
But I guess she was interested, because she asked me later, this was around like December, and like, hey, I'm back in the sand. Like, do you want to get in the sand? And I was like, yes. So we got in the sand a few times, and I just remember calling my mom both times, being like, this is epic. Like, Evie has me running all these, digging it over here and sprinting over here and hitting, and like, I feel like it utilizes my strengths, and Kelly is so sweet, and like, I would be doing a defense drill, and Kelly would be running to set my shank digs when that's not even like necessary.
Right.
And I was like, wow,
Right.
she's like putting in the work, girl. I'm like, this is for me to work, but you're working right now. So I just feel like that was characteristic of our whole partnership, was she's just so consistently showing up, like working hard, and that was just so inspiring. So yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better partner and person to travel with. Man, she's like the sweetest, on top of everything, because traveling international is,
It's a lot.
it's a lot. So I was just so grateful to have someone that I vibed with, like on the court and off the court. It was really cool.
That's a great perspective as well, I think, is like having the partnership and going about your business with your team in a way that fulfills you and that you're grateful for. If you take, like, if you were to, everyone just gets to take away their results, you don't know what the team's results were, how would you like to go about your business and go about your team and your daily grind? And if you're like happy with that, then you're winning. You know, the results might not come, like they're not coming for me either right now, but at the end of the day, like, you can sleep nice, you know, because you're like doing everything you can to live your dream of whatever being a professional athlete or being a professional beach volleyball player is. I think that's a good perspective
For sure.
to take.
Yeah, I mean, I always find solace in, like, you never have to wonder what if. And, like, when you have a partner who's going to work as hard as you do, and you have a coach like Evie is one of the most invested coaches in the world, because, like, I think Evie gets more nervous than any of his players have ever gotten
for sure,
nervous.
100%.
This dude, he'll just be sweating bullets the whole time. I'm like, Ev,
Turn
it's
it off.
water,
You
man.
can't turn it off.
Yeah.
But how great, I mean, the other side of it is to have a coach that's not as invested in, like, looking off into, you know, the birds while you're playing a match. Like, that would be, like, that would kill you, you know?
No, we need more Evies.
More Evies.
Yeah.
Little less anxious and sweating the whole time.
But how was it just having a partner, having a coach? You had a team. You built a team for yourself this year.
Yeah. Praise God. That's it. That's it. I didn't do any. I slid in the DMs, but he planted those seeds. So
Yeah. Well, what was the discussion like for coaches? I know Kelly's been working with Evie for a while. I don't know if you had you worked with anyone on the beach outside of SC?
here and there, just whoever I could. You know, Pompilio helped me. Jose helped me with the college training group, or not college. It was
Like the
national team development group. So I was just all over the place in terms of coaching perspectives, partner perspectives. So I had a coach from home, though, say, Hailey, this is a great time for you. This is a unique time that not a lot of people get. As a defender, you get to play behind so many different blocks with different ranges and so many different perspectives. Like, take this time as a win, because when you do have a consistent partner, like, your range is going to be bigger. So I was like, okay, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Was that true? Did you find that to be true?
Well, we'll say. I think so. If it's like anything, like if you believe you can take something from it, I think you will most likely take something from a situation, as opposed to like, oh, this situation's meaningless, this isn't working. I think, yeah, you probably won't get anything from it.
Yeah. I feel like most athletes who have, not that you need a faith background, but most athletes who have that faith background is always like, okay, well, like, why is this happening to me? Like, what can I be learning from this situation? I feel like that always helps to have that, because you can pull anything out of a loss, a win, like partner breakup, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I feel like you've probably been on learning hyperdrive these last 2 years.
That is true. Yes. Lots of learning, which has kind of contributed to me thinking a lot because things are new. But that's why I think towards the end of me and Kelly's partnership recently, I feel like we were playing so well together. And I think that's just because we were done like learning, you know, we could set each other in our sleep, it felt like. And I think that's so important with building a partnership, because then you can think less. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
you made the finals of Manhattan. That's badass, Hailey.
It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah,
and the hurricane, come on.
Yeah. A little rain.
Yeah, just a little sprinkle.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
Although I will say, inland was gnarly. It got, because me and Dee were supposed to go camping in Big Bear, and we got a message from like the park services. And it's like, hey, the road has so much damage, it won't be open again till mid-April 24.
Whoa.
I was like, all right, so that's where the hurricane went.
Yeah, exactly.
We just got a drizzle.
It's crazy.
But how was that run in Manhattan? Because as you mentioned, like, you won Fort Lauderdale last year with a decent partner in Tina. But you guys, aside from Denver, I feel like you hadn't really hit your peak, you and Kelly. You'd been close. Like, you showed signs of it. Like, you get winning pool. You'd have really good matches here and there, but didn't sustain it through a tournament. What was different in Manhattan that you guys, and of all tournaments, to sustain it in a 32-teamer?
Yeah. I mean, even before Manhattan, we had switched sides. So for the majority of the season, I was playing on the left. And then all through college, I had played right. And I think Kelly had recently played left. So we made a switch the beginning of the season. I played left. We thought there were some different strengths with that setup. But then heading into Manhattan, we're like, you know what? We are not getting the results that we want. And we're a good team. Like, the belief was always there. And so we switched, and we had a few practices, and I was just like, you know what? I feel great about this tournament. I don't know what it is, but I feel great about it. And that shouldn't be the only reason that we make it to a finals, is like, oh, you feel good before the tournament, because it doesn't matter how you feel, but that definitely helped. For some reason, doesn't hurt. For some reason, I just felt like, you know what? This is going to be good. Adversity is going to come, and it's how we deal with it better than the other team. So I think we'll be all right. And we played pretty solid, and we lost, I forget which round it was, to Corinne and Sarah, like 19-17 in the third. It was just a crazy match.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling pretty devastated after that, even though it was like, this is double a limb, like, we're not out of the tournament. But in my head, I was like, if you win that match, you're into Sunday regardless. And now we're in the 9th place match. I go, oh no,
not
come
the 9th
on,
place again.
Not the 9th place match. I said, no way this is happening right now. Like, we're playing so well. I had this moment of like, I don't want to say panic, but just my expectation kind of crept in, because I'm like, we're playing really well together, and then we lose 19-17, and then I was like, oh, I just need a minute. I need a minute to like get this out, because I don't think running from what I'm feeling is helpful. So I was like, all right. I talked to my family, was there at the tournament, my roommates were at the tournament, so I talked to them, get it out, and then I was like, all right, 2 more minutes, and then I'm done, and I'm moving on full positivity back to this next match. That's all that matters. And so then we win the next one, and I think we were in the 7th place match, and I look over at Kelly, and I was like, hey, we didn't get 9th, so we might as well win, right? And she's like, yes, let's do this. So I think that was the breakthrough. Like, we kind of joked about it, but yeah, I think playing that many matches, we got better throughout the tournament. Whereas, like, we've been to all these tournaments, but if you keep getting ninth, you're only playing 3 matches. So it's like, I feel like we don't have the same amount of, like, experience as some other partnerships because they're going deeper in tournaments and figuring more stuff out.
Yeah.
So the Manhattan run was awesome, just to, like, trust each other and, like, keep growing throughout those tough matches.
It's also like a match on a Sunday is a different match. You know, it's a different energy. So, like, how many Sunday matches do you have under your belt?
Yeah.
If you can count them on one hand, or, like, you know, it's going to be a lot different than going up against a veteran who has 30, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the Sunday vibes like for you? Because you obviously
Sunday Manhattan vibes are
handled
different.
them pretty well in Fort Lauderdale. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, that Fort Lauderdale, that was just so fun. That really was. That tournament, I had no expectations. Like,
I had a great time too. Good morning. Here at SANDCAST, you know, we got to keep our minds, bodies on point all the time. So we like to start our days with a little AG1. A little water in there. Give her a little spinaroo, and we're good to go. Multivitamins, all the goods your body can need. The greens, all in one. This is all you need, AG1.
And after we get our athletic greens, we're all energized to go practice with the only ball that we're ever going to use, Wilson, baby. And after practice, obviously, I'm sweating a ton. I need to get rehydrated. The only way we're doing it at SANDCAST is with Waikea volcanic water with bottles made of 100% ocean plastic. We're getting hydrated. We're saving the environment. 1 bottle at a time, baby. Cheers.
Guys, after a long day, you know, we're in the sun out there grinding and playing. We got the sunset going down, and we just need the perfect drink to take us into a nice evening of podcasting. And this is what we choose. Bartender in a box. My favorite flavor, the Mai Tai, but we also have margarita as a awesome choice. And, you know, there's 12 drinks, 12 cocktails in just one tasty box. Comes with the spout on it as well. So boom, sit down at the beach, take it on the go, 12 cocktails, bartender in a box. It is the official beverage of the SANDCAST podcast.
Yeah. Hey.
That's right. That's your Fort Lauderdale channel.
Hey.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, this Manhattan, it was so cool because we finished kind of late, and then we started early.
Oh, yeah. You were like 7 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Shoo.
So they were like, all right, tomorrow, 7 a.m. And we're like, okay. So I get there. I park at like 5:45, make sure I'm down there and awake and ready to go. And it was still dark. And it was like, we know a hurricane's happening today. So it was really cool vibes. Like, I was like amped.
Yeah.
Even though it was really early, I was just like, this is going to be awesome. And I just had so much trust in not myself, but me and Kelly, like, as a unit. And so I think that was really marked the Manhattan tournament differently in my brain. Was just like, I really trusted both of us. And I mean, Kelly was playing out of her mind, and it was really fun to watch. I was like, go ahead, girl.
Get it? Yeah.
Keep going. I'll be here,
Here
if you need. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
How was that early wake up? Because I sleep like absolute shit after competing. And so the 2 Sundays I've made, and I've had an early morning the next day. Like, I had the whoop when we played in Florida. I was like 8% recovery, 4.5 hours of sleep. And I was like,
That's why you can't look at Whoop
we go.
before you play.
yeah, I learned my lesson there. But we played at like 9 or 10 a.m., but you were playing at 7 after finishing late at night. Like, how was that turnaround? That's not an easy thing to do.
I mean, it was nice being in Manhattan because I could just drive 15 minutes home, and you have a quick turnaround. So it's put the legs in the Normatec, eat your dinner, and just go to bed and get ready to wake up. So it was nice having my family here because my mom is like Superwoman.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, anything you need, I got it. I'm like, okay,
Perfect.
I won't say no if you want to bring me some food while I Normatec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moms are the best.
Yeah, she's great.
It's got to be kind of fun, too, to watch like your SC classes doing so well. I mean, and you and Julia played each other again. Mm-hmm. When you and Julia play each other as a fan, I think it's one of the more entertaining matches on the women's side because you guys are best friends, but because you have the best friend relationship, like you can actually go at each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Both got some fire too.
Yeah, it's been an evolution playing against Julia because we're so close. It's like we would get, there's been times where it's like way too competitive, and then there's other times where it's like the other side really is faceless, and it's like it doesn't really affect I've seen either one of us. So it's cool to play her. Yeah, I do feel a little extra like if she hits so hard.
Yeah.
So it's like if I get to dig one of her balls, I'm like, yes.
Easy.
Love it. Like, oh, it's a win because she's so hard to dig.
Yeah.
So yeah, playing her was great. I remember in Manhattan, I saw we were on opposite sides of the bracket. So we both win that first match. We see each other in the players' tent. We're like, hey, good job. Go ahead, win that next one. So we both win the semis. And then we meet back in the players' tent. We're like, hey, good job. This is what we planned. Like, see you out there. Like, you good on time? And we're like, yeah, good. So
You need me to sunscreen you up?
Yeah.
Good?
yeah, so it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Sounds like you managed it well. Because, I mean, not all... I've seen a lot of different, relationships change, I guess, over the years because it's so difficult to, like, either compete your hardest against that person and then leave it on the court and not take it personally, or you change how you play because you're worried about how you're reacting to that person. So it's cool to see, especially earlier on in your career, because I think it's harder in the beginning. As you become a veteran, you start to, I don't know, the guys are weird like that, I guess, maybe even more competitive. I don't know. I'm not more competitive, but more in your face, like willing to talk to each other and cross the line, I guess. But it's cool to see that you've kind of learned to kind of master that skill early on.
I think part of it is less of like, oh, I want to beat this person to show that I'm like better. And I think we both are aware that like both of our goals is just individual mastery, like as much as we can, like of our skills and abilities that we've been given. So I think that's where it becomes a healthy competition. I think that's really the essence of what sports should be, is like that competitive drive is ultimately you against you. So it doesn't really matter who is on the other side.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a beautiful thing where you can like compete your hardest against someone that you know so well, and then after like go out to dinner.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And how would you say your progression toward like that individual mastery was this year?
So far. I'm so far from I guess what I perceive my potential to be. I hope that doesn't come off as like a prideful comment, but I think we all take audits of ourselves and we are aware of like, oh, where we are and where we can make adjustments. And so it's just day after day I'm watching film of myself. I'm like, you're doing the same thing. You got to wait on the approach. You got to wait.
Yeah.
You're early. You have no vision. So I'm like, oh man, if you just, you kind of tweak all these things and the game can be really fun.
Yeah.
It can be really competitive.
I
So
heard recently, was it a book or I don't know where I heard it, but they were saying that people who have mastered things are actually cutting things out rather than adding. They're not like getting all this huge wealth of knowledge and applying it all at once. They're actually just like taking out things. So like when I hear that, I'm like hearing like you probably telling yourself making the same adjustments you made when you were in high school. I'm saying the same thing. Don't think dry. Like I've been saying this my whole career. Same thing. Oh, I'm getting under the ball. Like it's such an elementary fundamental thing, but like I don't think any of those things go away. It's just a matter of like simplifying and like I don't know. Like the path to mastery is just it's almost backwards.
It's like that Bruce Lee quote, right? Like I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's practiced the same kick 10,000 times. Right.
I just got chills right there. I don't know. That's crazy.
So there you go. You can take that. But also, anyone who thinks that would have been a prideful comment, by the way, of you saying, I'm here, I'm really far from where I think I could be. Like, that's the most humble thing you can say.
All right. Just trying to be clear. Just trying to be clear. Yeah.
But these past couple months had to have been pretty cool for you. I mean, you make a Manhattan final. You don't get ninth. Yes. And then you end up switching partners to someone I'd never heard of before. Alix Klineman. Is that her name? That's a cool opportunity. I'm stoked for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, how did that come up?
So I got a random text, and I had her number saved. It's the funniest thing. I scroll back, and I had sent this text to Alix Klineman as like a nobody, just like, hey girl, if you ever need someone to shag or like jump in at your practice, you and April's practices, I'm around. Like, I was like, wow, that's some audacity right there.
Honestly, I think that's like a huge sign of like someone who's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Is like when they're young enough and they're like willing to just be like, hey, can I come out and be around? Like, I'll make myself helpful. Anyone that's ever reached out to me in that way, I'm just like 100%. Like, I'll help you any way you can, because I know that you want it, you know. And that probably just made an impression, even if you didn't end up making it to practice. She didn't end up telling you when to come or whatever. It for sure probably made an impression, and she saved your number.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, she had my digits. So, yeah, I forget when this was, but I got a text from Alix saying like, hey, can we talk on the phone? And my heart is like, what does she want to talk to me about? Like, what's going on? And so we talked on the phone, and she just mentioned like, based on who's signed up, like, I see that you and Kelly would not make it into world champs. And, you know, I just have this itch to get back in the sand. So would you want to sign up with me for the wild card? Like, I don't know if we'll get it. I don't know what is going to happen, but I want to see if we get it, like what we can do. And she made a comment, like, I had practiced with her once, one day, and she said, you know, you played really big with a lot of energy, and like, I've watched you play before, and like, I just think we could do really well if we can play together. And I was like, this is insane. Like, what? So I said, like, thank you so much. Like, I'm honored. Like, I need to talk with my team about it just for transparency and get back to you. And so then we sign up for the wild card. And I'm praying the night before the results come out, and I'm like, whatever you want. Like, either way, I want to like have open hands about this. And then the next morning it was like, we got the wild card. Woo! So then it was after Chicago, it was like, okay, we're going to train together full time. And who's our coach going to be? What uniforms are we going to wear? Did you book flights yet? Like, oh, what airline do you fly? Like, just so much logistics. I've never talked so much logistics with someone in these last like 2 weeks as I have with Alix.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so on top of it. Her and April were just like, everything's scheduled out. I mean, longtime veteran, both indoor and on the beach.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to imagine it's kind of eye-opening. Like, whoa.
And she got to see how April operates. And you know, April's not messing around. Some of
that from April.
Yeah. It's been incredible just being with her at practice, and then recently we've had April helping us a few days as well. So to have April and Alix talking back and forth, and I'm just sitting there like, this is nuts. Like, I want to have more of that like awe factor, I guess, but also aware of like Alix has been awesome of like, we are on the same level.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what I've done. We are a team. Like, we are completely peers. Like, you give me feedback, I give you feedback. And she really is like, I want you to feel empowered. Like, we are a team. I was like, that's so awesome and so kind. So
I love that.
Yeah. But I think recently I've been, like I said, kind of feeling like putting a little bit of pressure on myself. And I was kind of talking, I don't know if you overheard me in the gym talking to Tim, but I was like, I just want to get kind of back to that, like, what an opportunity this is.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I want to be, because I play my best when I'm like filled with gratitude and just like for the ability to compete. And with someone as hardworking and like attention to detail oriented as Alix. Like it's so cool.
Yeah, and also Alix is like coming off a baby, coming off of not playing, coming off playing with one of the greatest players ever. Like that's where like her mind's at, you know. And it's gonna be, she's in a whole different other state, right, and a whole nother challenge within herself. So to put like some crazy expectations on it it might make it even more difficult, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's not what I want to do. It's any way to like relieve pressure, that's what I'm going for, because this is such a cool opportunity. Like other teams have been playing maybe all year together, and then we just show up like 2 weeks of practice, like, all right, let's do this.
With house money.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It's always fun to play with house money.
For sure.
Where? How'd you even find out that you got the wild card? Was it like email? Did Alix call you?
So I got a text from East Coast people who saw it earlier than I woke up. So then I woke up and then I saw it like on Instagram.
Okay.
As well.
Isn't it funny how we find out like some of our most important life news on the gram?
Yeah.
I got fired from a job in Puerto Rico.
On Instagram?
I think it was Instagram.
Oh man.
Brutal.
People
what did you do to them?
Hey, sorry. I just wasn't siding out enough playing on an indoor team. But yeah, I mean, you never get to choose how you receive the information, I feel like.
Yeah. How was the dance between like Alix and Kelly? Because obviously you had to tell Kelly like, hey, I got an opportunity to play with one of the best blockers of our generation. And Kelly's obviously very talented too, but I mean, it's Alix. And I feel like knowing Kelly, I feel like she probably was very understanding and sweet about it.
Yeah, she's so awesome. I think we kept waiting to see if me and Kelly would get in because we earned the NORCECA bid. Mm-hmm. And so there were some talk is one team ahead of us going to pull out and are we going to get the bid? So that was kind of like, oh man, am I going to be in this tournament with two different partners? Like, what am I going to have to do? I'm like, that's a really tricky place to be. But so we like talked to Sean Scott. We were like, hey, can you give us like any info? And he was like, I heard like the 4 teams ahead of you are going. And so then it was like, okay, Kelly was totally understanding of like, yeah, we're not going. Like, you should be able to go. And then the same thing with Paris Elite 16. We signed up because Alix has, points from before her shoulder and before the pregnancy. So it's kind of like, it's weird because it's like we didn't break up necessarily because we just weren't in these tournaments.
Right.
It's just the way it worked out.
Yeah, volleyball's weird. Sometimes like the way partnerships, you didn't really break up, you just sort of slid over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have you and Alix talked about anything long-term, like past world champs?
We have signed up for other tournaments.
Okay.
But I think it all depends on, like, I think we're going to have another conversation, like, after these 2 tournaments. Because the goal is to make an Olympic run.
Right.
She's not just coming back for fun. But there's also a realistic aspect to it as well because of how late in the race it is. Yeah. So I think if we see how we do, if we have some good finishes, it's like, okay, well, maybe we invest and we go for it. But it's like, if that's not the case, new baby, like maybe we see, feel it out. So I don't want to let that put pressure on it either of like, we need to do good in these 2 tournaments. It's like, no, like just try your best, play how you want to play. 'Cause that's what you control. And like, I want to play with like fire and intensity. And then wherever the chips fall is where they fall.
Yeah. And it might be kind of a fun place for Alix to be. I mean, how often does she get to be the underdog? She's coming back as an Olympic. The last match she played, she won an Olympic gold medal, and now she's coming back, and people are like, "Oh, Alix and Hailey are underdogs."
So cool! Oh, that's so cool. I rewatched that after we got the wild card. I was like, "This is who I'm playing with. This is epic."
It's so crazy because like when I think about you, I'm like, I don't know. The years go by quick for me, so I'm like, she's been on tour for a while now. I forget that like last year was the first year, and so hearing all this, it's like Alix in April. I'm like, haven't you been on tour with them forever? Oh, no, you haven't. Like, you know, it's cool to see that fresh perspective. When you're talking about Alix saying like, hey, let's try to play together, it reminded me of when Hayden said that to me. I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought it was just, you're like, get reps out here, kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's just do it. I'm like, what? Okay, I quit indoor now. I'm like, let's go. But it's cool to see. Like, I just totally forget like that kind of early on energy of like just getting opportunities and like changing perspectives and sharing the court with people that have been there before. And it's cool. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And how have practices been going?
We are steadily getting better, I think, which is cool. So, yeah.
Well, what side is she? Are you back on the left then?
Ooh, we started with me on the right, and then I hope no one in our world's pool is listening to this.
This won't come out for a while. We've actually done a good job banking episodes, so you're
Perfect.
good. No scouting report here.
But yeah, then we kind of recently has switched with me on the left, and so I'm like, wow, good thing Evie had me play on the left this year. Like, it's all like working out.
But you might switch back right before World Champs.
We could,
So
we
scouting.
could switch back. We might just do I formation.
Hawaiian style,
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the perk of training both sides for us is like, if we need to switch, we can switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one. It's so cool that Alix is healthy enough to like move around and compete. Just because, like, I mean, Delaney had Austin like 2 months before Teddy was born, or Theo. Do they call him Teddy or
Teddy? Teddy's dad.
Yeah.
The dad.
Theo. Yeah.
Okay, they call him Theo. Okay. But how's she like doing?
I forget, honestly, sometimes that she just had a baby.
So that means she's doing good.
She's doing great in my perspective. In
Yeah.
her perspective, like she visibly, like audibly, like lets it out.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll get there. Like, I know I will. Like, I'm hitting how I think I should be, and give me like another couple days of explosiveness. Like, it'll get better. And I'm like, you're already reaching this high over the net, girl. So yeah, I forget. I'm like, I think she looks incredible. Like, she's working super hard, like cardio, zone 2 every day, like working on her explosiveness, like in there with Scott getting rehab, like everything. Like, we're watching video all the time. Like, she's like full go, which is crazy with the amount of time that's less in her day with her new child.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Seriously, and I mean, and the level of like elite athletic, just process oriented athlete that she is just like insane to throw on top being a newborn's mother and then coming back during this event with a new partner. It takes a certain person to be able to like even go for this. And yeah, it's also a good perspective to have, just watching it and seeing her be like, damn, I'm not there yet. You're like, you're hitting like 9 feet.
Yeah. 4 months after having a kid, which is basically abdominal surgery.
Yeah, I like screen recorded one of her bounces from yesterday, and I sent it to her. I was like, this is it. Like, you're so good.
What's like the beach season's so strange now, because it used to, like when I first started playing, it was basically Cinco de Mayo was the first AVP, and Chicago Labor Day weekend was the last, and every now and then you'd have a international tournament that went like mid-September at the latest, and now it's like February to December, and so now this is sort of like 2023 part 2, like you're having a second season.
Yes. I know. That's the question I think I get the most from just like friends and people who are outside of the sport. Like, oh, like, when does the season end? And I'm like, girl, it doesn't. Like, I've been training since January. And there are tournaments through like first week of December, I think. So
Yeah.
whether I'm going to them or not, I don't know yet. But it is another animal. Yeah. Just playing like all year long. And I'm just so thankful I'm not seriously injured. Like, that's why I'm like, oh, today's practice felt meh, but I'm not injured, so it's a win.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's funny when people like I've touched a ball maybe once or twice since Manhattan, and it's awesome. I'm looking at all these people, all you guys training. I'm like, good for you, because my brain
We're
is
just in a different world, Travis.
Shut off.
Yeah.
Is it has it been difficult for you to find? Well, probably not that playing with Alix, but like staying motivated and locked in and engaged physically and mentally for this long. It's hard. It's a hard thing. And so maybe switching partners this late in the game is the best way to stay fresh.
Yeah, that's a good perspective, I think. I mean, I'm very motivated right
Yeah.
now, but I also have this perspective of like, if Worlds is my last tournament of the year, all right,
Yeah.
you know, I can take a break, rest my body a little bit, but I'm still going to pursue my goals like relentlessly until that happens. So I think that's kind of the balance that almost takes pressure off
Yeah.
of like, I don't know what the rest of this year is going to look like, but I'm here for it. Like, whatever it is, I'm going to go 100%.
Yeah. I feel like you're not one to, you'd be like, yeah, I can take a break. And then 2 days later, you're like, I need something to do. Like, you just strike me as someone who doesn't do downtime very well.
I'll be with my mom on the pickleball court.
There
you
Some
go,
will be
yeah.
playing tennis, hiking. I don't like to hike or do anything. Like, I don't like going on walks, runs. And my friends are like, you never want to hike. I'm like, that's because I'm so tired
Yeah.
during the week. You think
Right.
I want to hike on my off day?
Right.
But if I'm like off, I can hike. I can do whatever. A surf.
There we
you
go.
go.
I'm
You
out
guys
there.
surf?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I fall. I fall really well.
Yeah,
Hey.
he goes out.
I paddle. I get really wet.
That's it. That's it. You're out there, get to see some dolphins
Definitely
sometime. Yeah.
paddles for pretty much any wave. God, no, man, not that one, bro. Okay, he's gone.
I crush it on the wave storm. You on the wave storm?
I'm on what if he has a loaner for me, I'll take one of his.
You've been on a wave storm a few times, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then Mesco's got a board for me.
Okay.
Yeah, we should get all the surfers on the volleyball surfers together.
Yeah.
Do a little content collab.
Yes.
You should. And then you should just stay away from me.
You need to be there for the
Yes,
comic relief.
Just don't be
Yeah,
inside
I'll
of him
be
when
there,
the wave
yeah.
comes.
Just don't be around
The
me.
blooper reel. Where do you go when you do get to get in the water? Out here in the South Bay?
Yeah, well, all year the waves have not been great in the South Bay.
True.
So I've been to Huntington a few times. Been to Doheny once.
Gotcha.
That was great. Nice, slow rolling
Yeah.
waves. Yeah, I surfed at Manhattan actually on Wednesday before the MBO.
Nice.
So take
You're
that
just
as you
trying to
will.
get the vibes, the energy.
I was.
They thought of that.
They were setting up the tournament. I was like, this is epic.
Yeah.
And the waves were not great, but I like caught one or two and like saw it on the surf cam, and I was like, this is so cool. And it was awesome because then I went to practice after, all wet, and Kelly's like, you go surfing? I go, yeah. And she just like is like, whatever gets you.
Yeah.
I trust you. Like whatever gets you in the best state of mind.
Yeah.
So.
And surfing, for me, falling, paddling, it still gets you in a great state of mind. Just being in the water,
Oh,
like you're
100%.
out, your phone's gone, you're in nature. It's just you. Like I don't know. It's just the greatest.
We've had
thing.
some warm mornings the last week or two, and I went out and like body surfed twice, and just went for a swim. But I was like warm. Like I didn't even have to do the bands and all that because my like shoulders, everything felt good. Heart rate, my blood's going. Maybe I still gotta warm the legs up a little. But I was like, why didn't I do this more?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's freezing most of the time.
You come out and your
But-
hands are purple.
Yeah, and your head's in a good space. You're definitely awake. You're not awake after getting out of the ocean. Whereas sometimes you come down early morning, you're like, all right, let's ease into these first few drills. So yeah, we got to get I need to get, I mean, this like, for me, it's like therapy. Like I need to get in the water. So like just jumping in at the end of the practice, I'm like, I have to like make myself get in, even if it's like you don't have time or it's cold. Like, okay, I got to go to church.
Yep. Post world champs surf therapy.
Yes.
Make that
I'm
happen.
holding us to it.
Okay. Oh, I got nothing better to do.
Yeah, you're just.
Set a reminder on your phone for October.
Well, I'll
You gotta
be in-
find some good waves though.
Yeah.
No offense, South Bay,
PV Cove's been all right.
PV Cove.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
But after world champs, I'll actually be working again. So
Who else
I'll
surfs?
need a break.
Who else gets out there? Corinne.
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 Baranek used to, but now every time Baranek steps outside, he hurts something.
Really?
Yeah. He's tore his Achilles.
No, really? Not playing?
Shooting hoops at 24.
Oh, he's built for the sand.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. So he's out for like
poor
another
guy.
year and a half with his Achilles.
Well, a year and a half. Jeez.
Yeah. Poor guy.
5 months, said Aaron Rodgers.
What?
He said he wants to come back for the playoffs or something.
Oh. That'd be wild.
Apparently someone did, and a running back came back.
An
That was like
Achilles?
the record time. Anyway, I'm not trying to put a timeline on that.
Yeah.
But the Hawaiian guys surf, the crabs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Riley's decent.
Me and Kamer are probably about the same.
Kamer's not great. You're about the same as Cam. You're a better swimmer
Yeah.
for sure. So like you wiping out on a wave, I'm like cool with. Like yeah, he'll pop back up. Just
Yeah.
hopefully the board didn't hit him or slam his face on the sandbar. Cam was like, oh, I better go. I might have to go grab him. He'll charge it and not be scared, but like, yeah, I'm like reaching down there trying to grab him, pull him out by the hair or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
probably
get a
it.
crew together post World Champs. A little therapy. Well, are you guys going to try to do the India?
We're signed up.
Oh yeah, I'm
It's
signed up too.
TBD.
Okay.
I guess I'm going.
Well, whenever you guys are ready, I'll hold you to it. Whenever you're ready to
Yeah,
come back.
Okay. Perfect.
Well, Hailey, you got a lot of exciting things happening. And, well, before we let you go, I know you said we didn't have to do a shout-out, but you're keeping us hydrated with electrolytes. Now, YK, we still love you, but we did want to make sure that Hailey gets a proper due with...
Hey, anyone taking care of our athletes here is...
Yeah, what do we got here? I
gets a
mean,
shout out.
I mean, the electrolytes, I'm not cramping during a podcast.
No,
I
this
did not.
is my liquid gold aqua hydrate.
Here we go.
I've just been obsessed with this water since I was like 16. They were passing them out at a Phoenix tournament where I grew up, and it was so blazing hot that I was just downing these waters, and I was like, wow, this water's so good. I don't know if that was just 16-year-old me, just like it's free. But ever since then, I was like, man, this stuff is great. So wherever I would go, traveling for tournaments, if I would see it, I would buy it. And I just always was like, this water's the best. And then I met with them post-college, you know, hey, I'm turning pro. I love your water. And it's not just in my head, because their product guy was telling me all about like the stuff that they do. And he's like, this is the best water you can drink. Sorry, why can't? This is not from my mouth, but I just love it. And then hearing that was like, oh, sweet. Like, I will continue drinking this.
It's performance water too, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It has electrolytes and all this stuff in it.
But it just tastes like wonderfully silky smooth water.
And it must have made an impression because you're, what, 24?
25.
25?
Yeah,
That was 9 years ago.
I know.
Talk about authentic.
Now you're
It's
working
good stuff. I know.
That's full
Authentic
circle right
partnership.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to chug massive monsters when I was in middle school. And look at me now. Don't chug them anymore like
Dude,
that, but
I can't imagine you in middle school. You had enough energy as it is, let alone another 200 milligrams of
Yeah.
caffeine.
yeah, you know,
Shoo.
it was not good for the teachers. There was some detention involved somewhere in middle school there, even on Saturdays. Got a few
Do
Saturday
you still do anything with Raising Cane's?
I eat it. That's for
Yeah.
sure. I consume it. No, nothing official.
Is that how we jump like you then? Raising Cane's?
I won't say no. I think I play some of
It's
my
more the
best
water.
volleyball after Raising Cane's. Carbo load, little
Yep.
protein, some sauce action.
And the cane sauce is next
Come
level.
on, come on.
Oh, I'm ready for dinner now.
Yeah. Well, any other sponsors you'd like to shout out before you go?
I would love to shout out
Yeah, bring 'em
Mizuno.
on.
Mizuno has been awesome.
Yeah.
Supporting my career. Wonderful. Yeah. Chadwell Supply for any of your supply needs.
Oh, there we go. What kind of supplies?
Like home apartment appliance supplies. Like
Oh.
pretty much anything you could need. They're
This
awesome.
household could probably use that.
Yeah, my
Yes.
wife might
Yes,
Gabby?
snag a bunch of those.
for sure.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
And where can people follow you on social and
Ooh.
your journey through 2023 Part 2 and beyond?
Yeah, you could follow me on Instagram. It's just at Hailey Harward.
Hailey Harward
There we go.
with the D's at the end. I hear it pronounced Hardward
Dude.
all the time. I'm like, guys, there's one D.
Evie still thinks it's Howard. But he sends me videos of his son because Evie has this chant for me, Hailey Howard. And then he sent me a video of his son saying, Hailey Harward. And me and Kelly just crack up because he knows, I think, that it's Harward. He's got to know. I think. But it's just easier for him to say Howard. So.
Yeah, it's that Canadian accent.
It's got to be.
It's just tough to pronounce.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Jose will come up with some fun names for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still Trevor's. Plural Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, Hailey, I'm excited for you. All good things to come. And good luck this fall. And I'll see you in Mexico. Good luck in Paris, too.
I'll see you at the gym.
Yeah, see you there. Thank you guys for having me. This was really
Coming
awesome.
back on.
Thank you.
Shoots.
Thank you.